Hello, I'm Darren Slack, and welcome to Week 10 of NFA's QB Cast, your weekly prep talk podcast for helping everyone associated with game day to get better. We're continuing our quarterback leadership series this week with number 10 on the list of critical attributes for quarterback leaders on the field and in life, and that's athleticism. Athleticism is the quality of having the kind of strength and energy that makes a great athlete. Leadership is about separating oneself from others in a manner that stands out. And there's not a better way to do that on a football field than through athleticism, especially at the quarterback position. We see the benefit of that when players make plays. We already know how difficult the position is to play, but when a quarterback leader is able to excel through athleticism, his leadership is immediately respected and seen as credible. The team's goal is to win, and those who are closest to the ball each play that generate points with their skill garner attention, respect, and followership. That's the leadership we need through athleticism. For many high school programs around the country, the playoffs are coming up. This means that each game down the stretch run is critical to the desired outcome for the team. Every coach in every locker room is imploring their players on offense to do two things: don't turn the ball over and create explosive yardage gain plays. Why? Statistically, over the last 30 years, it's been turnovers and explosive yardage gain plays that have been the primary reasons for wins and losses. What teams need right now from their leaders is playmaking. Playmaking is directly impacted by athleticism. Athleticism in a quarterback has the capacity to swing the momentum of a game, flip the field position, and score points. Now, developing athleticism in a quarterback is a year-round process of strength training, speed development, and skill development, and nutritional discipline. So how can your team benefit now at the end of the season with something that takes a whole year to build? Well, it's true that whatever we built in the offseason has been on display for the season thus far. But if you're playing in the game for your team now, you possess the necessary athleticism right now, so you need to use what you have. You wouldn't be in the position you're in if you didn't have what you need to help your team. So, in order to maximize your athleticism heading into the postseason, it requires three things. Number one, stay focused on what you do best and do it over and over again. The biggest mistake I see quarterbacks and teams making heading into the playoffs is changing who they are and what they do. There's a reason you're in the playoffs. It's because what you did was good enough to get you where you needed to be. Athleticism is the release of what you do best to benefit the team. Anxiety is changing what you do best because you don't think it's enough. Coaches do this all the time when they're faced with better opponents in the playoffs. It's like they forget who they are and how they got where they are. They demonstrate a lack of confidence in their plays and in their players. As the leader of your team, you must help your coaches remain confident in what they're trying to do by using your athleticism to make plays doing what you did all season to get yourselves in the playoffs. Teams who adjust, change, and otherwise alter what they do create tentativeness in their best players. They make mistakes, turn the ball over, and leave the playoffs early wondering what just happened. The playoffs is not a time to try to generate things that weren't there all season. This is especially true for quarterback leaders. If you don't do something very well, don't try to make it work now. You focus on your best skills to benefit the team. Play within yourself mentally. That means you don't let intimidation of the big moment or the better opposition get the best of you. And you use your athleticism to create your best moments doing what you do best. Okay, number two, let go of everything that has happened to this point and start the season over now. The mental and emotional aspects of releasing athleticism in yourself cannot be overstated. Allowing the past failures and criticisms of fans, coaches, parents, and players in your head and in your heart can severely hinder your leadership and athleticism from being displayed. I attended a game earlier this year and observed a Division I prospect quarterback who spent the whole game trying not to lose. He obviously had some restraints placed on him by his coach, but he was concerned about looking bad, and because of that, he didn't play up to his potential. He missed a lot of opportunities. This is an all too common issue for very talented quarterbacks who can't rise to the occasion in big games. They're too mentally hindered by a fear of failure, a fear of rejection, and a fear of losing that they can't play like they're capable of playing. This is why you see some quarterbacks who don't have the talent that others do excelling in big moments. They use the athleticism they have to make plays. They escape the pocket, they take care of the ball, they move the chains, and they score the points that need scoring. Leaders who drive their teams looking in the rearview mirror, whether they played well or not in previous games, are destined to repeat the mistakes of previous games or make new ones in their big moment. You must focus forward from this point, period. Well, how do you overcome failure or mistakes to start a new season in your mind? That sounds like a big job. Well, it begins with a decision. It sounds simple, I know, but every great change begins with a decision, and this is no different. Here's one idea for you. Set up a mind marker each day on the way to practice where you leave everything behind to just get better. It could be a fence post, a gate, or a locker room door. But the moment you cross that line or threshold, you determine only to look forward to the next opportunity. It'll take a few days in a row to do this, but you'll notice a change in your mind, a clarity, a return to your emotional energy, and an opening of your vision of the field. See, failure causes tunnel vision. Fear saps emotional energy, and discouragement clouds the mind. When you decide it will be different from this point forward, and you take action like drawing that line about how you'll let your past affect you, you'll see a huge difference. And hopefully, this line you draw to leave behind the distractions of life and the past on the way to practice becomes the way you live your whole life. You know what else will happen? Your teammates will benefit greatly from your freedom to lead with fresh emotion and focus. They'll see you moving on, and they're going to do the same thing. It sounds a bit strange, but it works. Set the mind marker and move forward. Leaders must always win the battle of the mind before they fight the battle before them. Setting a mind marker helps the battle to be won every day as you prepare. And I guarantee you, the victory you win with something as simple as a mind marker will carry over to the game. Now, number 3, take risks and play with abandonment. There is literally no tomorrow for your season. Like sprinting through the finish line, there's a point in the race where you must decide to kick strong to the finish. That decision is usually based on what we believe we can sustain through the end. Do we have enough gas to finish? We must stop calculating everything at stake and begin pushing ourselves at every turn we can. This doesn't mean we panic and start making bad decisions, but rather we take more shots down the field on early downs. We work a little harder to break those tackles and escape the pocket and extend the play. We step up our efforts to encourage and motivate other playmakers on our team. When a leader starts taking reasonable risks and succeeding, that inspires every good thing in those with talent around him. Teams who win championships will need big plays and big games to be made, and those can't be made when the leadership is tentative and worried about winning and losing. There's an important disconnect that must occur in you right now. It's where you cease to be concerned about winning and losing at any point from here on out. You're only concerned with making play after play after play, no matter what it takes. There are no "we'll get the next one" arguments after a playoff loss. There is nothing more. So don't hold back for any reason. Yes, a loss will hurt bad, but not doing all you were capable of doing in that loss will hurt more. So settle the matter now and leave it all on the field. If you fail one time in the game, succeed the next 2 times. This isn't a suggestion to get away from being who you are and trying crazy things. It's a heart check to banish your nerves, for your fear of losing, and your cautiousness. Kick it out of your head and heart by turning your full attention to the effort you're going to give, the execution you'll produce, and the leadership you intend to demonstrate. You will yourself to be this way by pushing your feelings aside. Better teams will not give you free yards like weak opponents did, so you'll have to go out and take them. You'll have to earn every yard at every moment, so go do it. And while you're at it, take some risks. This may mean you'll have to take some heat and criticism along the way if things don't work out. But the worst feeling after an early exit in the playoffs is knowing you left something on the table. It's the feeling that you could have done more, tried other things, or taken some risks, and you didn't do it because you were afraid. Leadership through your athleticism is about risk-taking, and for quarterbacks that means using your strengths to make the throw down the field, make yards with your speed, and demonstrate a level of durability that your team hasn't seen from you all season. Athleticism in a leader is more than just physical. It's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual. And now is the time to tap every store you have to push all in for the team. Anything less is weak and selfish. Leadership through athleticism and in life stays focused on what it does best and does it. It doesn't look back, ever, win or lose. And it takes risk because it knows there's no guarantee of tomorrow. I hope that inspires you to release your athleticism as leaders on the field and in life. Next week, we'll dive into another important attribute, but let's this week evaluate how committed we are to releasing athleticism for our team in the playoffs. We wish you the best, NFA Nation, in your games this week, and we'll talk to you next week after your win.